moom tamit ci anglais lay wax officier de liaison la entre communauté caribéen yi ak africain yi ak NYPD ndax li waral loolu mooy am na yeneen état ci biir réew mi boo fa demee am na ñàkk wóoluwante ak noonu bu am diggante law enforcement mooy police yi ak communauté immigré yi lu mel ni Arizona ak yeneen mais New York mairie bi ñi ciy liggéey policiers yi sapeur pompier yi social worker yi loi réew mi loi city bi da leen di tere ñuy enquête jëm ci statut immigré nit ki policier mënu la arrêté laaj la ndax am nga green card wala amuloo ko am na ci executive order boo xam ne ni maire bi signé na ko yeneen maire yi fi nekkoon signé ko muy genre décret kon moom mooy yombal diggante boobu diggante communauté bi ak policier yi ba bu ñu la songee nga nekk koo xam ne ni victime nga ci crime kon am nga droit report ko ci police amoo doon loo ci ragal. I was telling people earlier, you've been working with this community for years. You've been with the force for 19 years. So you, basically your job is building the trust between the Blue Wall and the immigrant community. So you're welcome. You'll be talking about the protection for women and the children in this country. So you have, the time will be 10 minutes, and your station, which is the broadcasting on the AM dial 9:30 a.m. Also on the internet, we have some folks here broadcasting live.
Good evening again. My name is Detective Leslie Leon, and I am very grateful that you have honored me and invited me to attend your International Women's Day event. It is on behalf of the Police Commissioner Raymond Kelly of the New York City Police Department and Chief Philip Banks of the Community Affairs Bureau to welcome me here. I am going to speak on an issue that is very important to the community and something that Papa Drama, your president of the Assembly Association, asked me to speak about, and that is domestic violence. I'm going to ask a series of questions which I want you to answer to yourself. These questions, it's very clear. Does your partner hit you, punch you, chokes you, even bite you? Threaten to hurt you, your children, your pet, your family? Do you have a partner that prevents you from seeing your family or friends? He suddenly gets angry or loses control. Controls all your finances, where if you need any money, you have to go to him. Denies you access to food, beverages, even medication and medicine. If you answered yes to any of these questions, it's not necessarily, you may be a victim of domestic violence, but those are not the only factors. I'm going to give you the definition. I'm going to read it verbatim. The domestic violence is a threatened behavior used to establish and maintain power and control over intimate partner or family members. Now, domestic violence takes various different forms. One of these forms, of course, physical. We all know that. He hits me, causing injuries. Emotionally, the person tries to make you feel less superior than him. Psychologically, he tries to intimidate you. Now, sexual abuse is also one factor. When a woman says no, you have every right to say that. No man could force you. Financial abuse. That's when you have no say when it comes to your money. That person wants to control it. How does this whole cycle begin? Of course, when you meet your mate. I want it to be very clear. Domestic violence is not just an issue in reference to a woman being abused. A man could be also in a relationship that he's being abusive to. We all meet someone, and when we meet, everything is going great. All of a sudden, that person change. They come out more aggressive. They might say to you that day, guess what? Hey, that coffee you just made me is not hot enough. Or that color of that outfit that you're wearing is really ugly. That's the beginning of that tension building in the relationship. What's the next phase? Now, all of a sudden, it becomes more physical. Now he decides he's going to take a belt, or she decides she's going to take a belt. They hit you. You're being part of abuse. What does these individuals usually do after this abusive behavior? The famous word is, I'm sorry. No. It's a continuing cycle. That I'm sorry is not what you need to do. What you need to do is seek help. And what I want you to know, the most important thing here, you are not by yourself. We are here to help you. There are various avenues that you can go to seek assistance if you feel that you are being a victim of domestic violence. For example, I can tell you, in 2009, New York City Police Department received 236,000 calls and 561 911 calls in reference to domestic violence. That averages to 648 calls per day. So you are not alone when it comes to domestic violence. There are many women and men out there that are being abused, and there is avenues that you can go to. Every precinct in New York City has a domestic violence prevention officer assigned to it. There are 78 precincts in New York City. There are 9 police service areas which service the housing community. Also, we have an additional 8 patrol boroughs. So there are many places to go. So you might be asking yourself now, how can the police help me? The police can help you in many ways. As I said, the domestic violence officer is there to assist you. That officer is there to provide you counseling. He can refer you to where you can go to. There's a main factor in the court system which is called an order of protection. An order of protection is an instrument that's issued by the family court to assist you when it comes to dealing with your mate. What that order of protection does is, it basically tells, it's an order that's specifying to the person that's being abusive to you that they have to stay away from you or seek mediation in order for you to start seeing that person. The domestic violence prevention officer can also help you develop what we call a safety plan. This safety plan will address various aspects of your life. It deals with how you can secure your home, while you're going to work, what measures can you take. Everything that we do is free. We'll even send an officer to your residence to do a security survey for you. That officer is called the crime prevention officer in the precinct. And every one of those 76 precincts has one of those officers assigned to it. But the most important thing, and I'm going to stress it again, we need you. Now, I am an immigrant, and I truly understand as an immigrant, there is a language barrier. We are fully aware of that language barrier. What we've done for that is we have what we call a phone bank. That phone bank operates 24 hours a day. No matter what language you speak, there will be someone that speaks your language. When that officer comes knocking on that door and he's asking you, and because maybe you don't understand or you cannot speak, all you need to tell that officer is the language that you speak. He will get a communication, someone on that telephone that could actually communicate with you. Now, I know my time is very limited, but it is very important for you to know that we in the New York City Police Department do not care about your immigration status. The mayor has signed what we call the Mayor's Executive 41. What the Mayor's Executive Order 41 does is that no matter what your immigration status is, you can seek service from any city agencies. So there should be no deterrence for you to stray from that. Now, I'm just going to go a little bit on what to expect when a police officer arrives at your house. You're having an argument. Somebody calls 911. We're going to come. We're going to investigate the situation. We're going to listen to both parties. We're going to try to separate you. One officer is going to take someone on one side of the room. Another officer might take the other person to the other side of the room. We're going to interview you. Now, based on what you tell me, what the other person says, we're going to look at the situation. If we find out that one person is being aggressive and is being abusive to the other person, we have guidelines we have to follow. It is not up to our discretion when it comes to certain situations. Remember what I said about the order of protection? If you violate that order of protection and the person produces that order of protection, I have no option as an officer. I have to arrest you. If you decide to commit a felony to your loved one or person, of intimate person, I have to arrest you. If you cause physical injury. Now, what do I do as an officer? I use technology, because sometimes you need a voice, and that voice could actually come out in a photo. You might now go to court 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, and that person, remember that famous word? I'm sorry. Things are good. It will never happen again. I promise you. Trust me, it happens again. So that's why we take those photos. We're looking to see damages that person does to your house. A lot of time, they take the frustration out on your property. They'll bang the door. They'll punch a hole in the door. They'll break stuff. We'll take all those evidence. We'll keep them. But a very important instrument that you're going to receive from that police officer is what we call a domestic incident report. That is mandated when the officer comes to your residence. What that domestic incident report does, and I really want you to really listen to this, is it gives you an opportunity at that moment to have a voice. In your own word, you're going to put down what occurred. I'm also going to put down what occurred. I'm going to give you a receipt of that form, telling what happened. And I understand. Remember, I said it's possible that you may not be able to speak the language. I will note that you're not able to speak the language. I will have you speak to someone who speaks your language in order to fill out the form. This form has a unique number that we're going to assign to it. The crime prevention officer in your precinct is going to keep track of this. They're going to come and visit you. We're not going to leave you out there by yourself. We're going to send an officer to your house to check up on you, to see if everything is okay. So remember again, you are not by yourself. I know time is very limited, so I had to really cut my speech a little bit. But I really want you to understand is that I brought several materials here. In those materials, you will find various resources that you can go to assist for help. If you look at the table where you entered, you will find these pamphlets. There's 3 of them. Please feel free to take them. Read them. Most importantly, They have various resources that you can call